So there was this funny thing that just happened. I was I started the thing and then I was like, I hit the wrong button and it stopped the video. And I was like, wait, what did I just do?
I know. Well, it's new stuff, right? It's new stuff, and so I've already done it too. It's like,
Yeah,
what
well,
are these extra buttons now? Ah!
I think we need a production crew instead of us trying to do all of this stuff ourselves.
Yeah. Who is watching right now that would love to be a production crew? Let us know if you want to be in the background pressing on the buttons for us.
Pressing on the button.
Yeah. Who is us, Dr. Jay-Z?
Well, I'm Dr. Jay-Z, Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I'm the senior minister at Unity of Tucson. Unity of Tucson is an inclusive and loving spiritual center where our purpose is to provide a safe, loving space where people can explore the principles of new thought. Yes. That's the spiritual philosophy we teach. In order that they may master spiritual understanding, find personal purpose, and
Oh no, he's frozen. Am I frozen too? Let me know in the comments if we're both frozen. Okay. Uh-oh. We've got a frozen Jonathan. Okay, well, I'm St. Steph, Reverend Steph St. Amand. I am up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I am the spiritual director of OneLoveAwakening.com. We are an online virtual community that honors all paths and focuses on bridging hearts, awakening minds, and transforming lives. We teach science of mind and new thought principles, and we love being here with you. I'm going to maybe he'll unfreeze in a minute. Oh my goodness. Let's check in with some folks while we wait for Dr. Jay-Z to come back into the unfreezed zone. Let's send him some warm up love and vibes so that he can join us once again. Hey, everybody. Welcome. If you have something you would like to rant about, you are absolutely welcome to share it in the comments. And we've got some folks here already. Hi, Wayne. Play is my superpower. Oh, I love that. Can you teach me how love could be my how play could be my superpower? I would love that. Yes, Angela is here. Good morning, beloved. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let us know you are watching in those comments. Dr. Jay-Z, I'm sure will be bouncing back as soon as he can. So if you have a great question or thoughts, hi, Anita. Good to see you, beloved. Jonathan has just stepped out for a moment. Will he reboots or something? So let me know in the comments what you would like to rant about. I know that Beryl had sent something in that we are probably going to talk about for sure. But what are your thoughts? What is your radically affirmative new thought you want to think about, ponder on, and discuss? We would love to hear from you. Absolutely. Andre, I see that love. I see that love, beloved. I see it. Yes. Hey, Val. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. We are just waiting for Dr. Jay-Z to come back. I'm going to open something else up where he communicates with me on a regular basis. What is it? Yes, let's open that app. What's up? What's up? Because maybe he will be saying, I can't get back on or something. Not quite yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So this is the RANT, Radically Affirmative New Thought. If you have something you would like to chat about, let me know. Hey, Andre, good afternoon to you, beloved. Good to see you. Jerry, hello, blessings to you. Everyone who's just popping on now, we are waiting for Dr. Jay-Z to show back up. We lost him. His call was dropped. Oh my goodness. So in the meantime, we're just chatting. We're just finding out about each other. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Oh, he's coming back. Loading up. Yes.
So I am tethering my internet access off of my smartphone now because our internet just went down.
Oh my goodness.
Unity. Yeah.
I figured it was something big because that was just Yes.
Yeah. So
For-
hi.
Hi, everybody. So we did some intros. We've chatted with some folks. We've got Yvonne here as well. Hello. Hello. And now we are ready. We are ready, Dr.
I
J.
guess so. Where
Ah.
were we?
You were talking about a fabulous in-person community in Tucson, Arizona. You can also watch them live every Sunday too. You have a fabulous community. I'm so in awe. It's awesome. Unity of Tucson. It's so great.
Well, you're part of my fabulous community.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, because it's not just in person. We have a wonderful reach in the using the interwebs.
The interwebs. Interwebs, we are interconnected.
Yeah. Okay. So here we are. Anita is saying we're still waiting for you to come visit. I think that's to you, Steph.
Yes, it absolutely is to me. And I will have you know, I've got Google Flights sending me daily emails to let me know when the best time to come. But if you have a time for me, like what's the best time for me to come? Because I don't do heat well, and it's Tucson, Arizona. So probably like February, March.
We're going to have a high. Well, I'm going to try and do the conversion in my brain for you. We're going to have a high today, I think, of about 20.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a beautiful day.
Gorgeous.
That's a beautiful day.
I think it's supposed to warm up next week, but usually around Halloween is when it breaks and we get into the cooler weather. The other thing is, how far away are you? How far a drive are you from Minneapolis?
That's a great question. It's probably not excessively far. Let's Google Maps that.
The reason I ask is because what Dane and I, my husband and I, we go to Thunder Bay, but what we do is we fly to Minneapolis and then we rent a car and we drive to Thunder Bay, and then we're only doing domestic air flights. So we're not doing international flights. I may lose you again. I think our internet is back. I'm going to try and switch over to that so I'm not draining my phone.
Maps. Here we go. Directions. I'm getting directions to Minneapolis from my location. Let's see. Oh, 7 hours. Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, my Google Flight, we're so not even ranting yet, you guys.
I know.
we're just trying to get me to Arizona.
I'm back
my
on
Google
my
Flights
internet.
is going to Phoenix because you're going to come and pick me up in Phoenix.
Yeah, I can do that. Did you see the look on my face? I'm like, oh, I have to drive to Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
Dane can drive. Hey, we've got some more folks watching. Awesome. Good. So good to be here with you. Am I the only one who has had trouble with internet interruption lately? No, you're
Clearly not.
No, we had some trouble last Friday on the rant too. So there is.
Well, there are all these solar flares and things that are happening. It's I think that may be part of it, that we've got such solar activity, and they say that can disrupt the signals, radio signals, and things like that. So I wonder that may be it. The other thing is we are on a wireless high-speed internet connection here. We're not tied in using a cable to the street. So yeah. Anyway.
Laura Stewart's here. Hey, everybody, it's Laura
grateful
Stewart.
to see you, glorious Laura Stewart. Reverend Laura Stewart.
Yeah, Reverend Laura Stewart. Yes. Oh, beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
We should rant about something.
Now that maybe the internet is working properly.
Internet's working. Yes. Yes. We're grateful to see you too, beloved. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I loved what Beryl sent you.
Oh yeah, let me see if I hold on. I may.
So we'll get the ball rolling with that.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to.
Yes.
I have to do this. It's a long thing, right?
Well, explore how comparison. Are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm typing it in. Basically, this is essentially what her barrelness.
Her barrelness. Her barrelness. I love that.
Will you and St. Steph explore how comparison is the thief of happiness? Okay, so let me first acknowledge.
Yes.
Let me first acknowledge that I brought this quote up in my message last Sunday as part of my message. So this is where Beryl, I think, is getting that. And It is attributed to Brene Brown, although she did not coin that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
He's borrowing that phrase, but it's often attributed to Brene Brown. But it has been attributed to Mark Twain. It's been attributed, I said this in my Sunday service, I said, it's been attributed to one of the Roosevelt presidents. I don't remember if it was Franklin or Theodore Roosevelt.
One of those Roosevelts.
Yeah, one of the Roosevelts. But here's the question. Comparison is the thief of happiness. Let's just start with the basic premise of what does that mean to you?
Yeah, comparison is the thief of happiness. Oh my goodness, because being your true self is happiness, right? Like finding yourself for me. And when I'm in comparison, like keeping up with the Joneses is one of those things, right? One of those phrases we've heard so many times. Keeping up with the Joneses is we have to like, oh, the Smiths just got this, so now we need to get this bigger. And it's all that we are doing, that what robs us from our happiness in that comparison is believing we aren't enough as ourself, right? And that's just not true. Comparison robs us of the gift of who we are. It robs the world of the light that we shine as a unique and unrepeatable expression.
Yeah. You know, you've really just hit it. The only reason we might want to consider being in a state of mind of comparison is if we don't believe the truth of our being, which is we are worthy, we are valuable, we are magnificent, that there can be no alternative to that. Absolutely. You know, why would I compare myself to anyone else if I know the truth of my being? Yeah. And then taking that a step further for me, and this is kind of what I got into, you know, comparison also leads us to modes of competition. Like if I feel less than you, then I need to do something about it and try to build myself up or knock you down.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And we do these things. Oh no, he froze again. We do these things like subconsciously, or you know, our self sabotage. We are in conflict with our own true essence when we are in comparison with one another. And
okay,
there he is. So
I think I'm gonna have to keep tethered on my phone because the internet here just keeps
tethered. Stay tethered, beloved. So I was just talking about a comparison is like subconscious self-sabotage for your own good. And I was thinking about how it comparison and competition is a huge thing. I do not enjoy competition. I am not competing against no one. Right? There's no other.
Can I ask you though? Yeah. Sorry. So, you know, you and I, we came through a similar ministerial training path, right? Yeah. Obviously slight differences, and because you were in Canada and had a teacher and I was in California and I had a teacher, and while the curriculum is essentially the same, we have our own experiences of that. But the question then is, Beryl is on Unity's website saying happy fiber optics. Was there a, and it was not explicit, do you feel like there was a tacit encouragement to be in competition with other ministers and ministries? Do you feel like that was part of what we were taught?
I don't think so. I come from a place of collaboration and you know, in that realm. So not in my perspective or experience. What I do find is churches or communities in competition with one another, but so not necessarily like ministers being in competition.
When did you start? When did you start ministerial studies?
I started ministerial studies in 2008. Thanksgiving in 2008. We were the last RSI or Religious Science International ministerial class. We were the last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see competition outwards, like people, you know, we're all teaching the same classes, so we need like, oh my goodness, people. And I'm like, whoever's in my class is who's supposed to be in my class. I don't need to compete with anyone.
No, I'm not talking about within the class setting.
Mm.
I'm saying, was there a tacit encouragement? And like I said, it's
I don't
not
know.
explicit, but for me, what I experienced and was that there was kind of a culture within the larger community to say, hey, you know, to be the best minister that you can be, you have to be in comparison with other ministers, which then does lead to a sense of competition. And I think that there was something born out of that because, you know, it used to, Centers for Spiritual Living did used to be two organizations, Religious Science International and United Church of Religious Science, that then came back together. Well, there was definitely competition between RSI and UCRS. That was part of the culture.
Yeah.
And perhaps what I'm feeling is, because I started ministerial studies earlier than you, was perhaps a little bit of a holdover of that culture. That I don't, and I agree, I don't think that it's really existing anymore. And I certainly turn myself around to say, oh, you know what? My point of view is that I want to be in cooperation.
I want to be in cooperation. Yeah. I want to be a team player. I want to be a part of a team. I want to, you know, I want to collaborate. I want to watch other people grow and expand and evolve and being. So I was going to say, comparison is the gateway drug to jealousy and envy. Right. And
Totally.
if you are in a place of jealousy or envy, you are separate from your good. You are separating yourself from the light that you are. And, you know, like those are the things. So seeing other ministers, like I remember being like a newer minister and seeing people who are just like a year or so more experienced than me getting my dream jobs, right? It's like, oh my goodness. And then it's like, no, if it was mine, it would be mine, right? If it's mine, it would be mine. And so I don't need to worry about being in competition or being jealous or envious of someone else who's living their dream life. Shouldn't we all be trying to do that? Isn't that the point of this grand adventure we're taking in this experience of life, to be your best self? And so whatever is mine is already mine. It's already got my name on it, whether it's in my experience yet or not. It's already going, hey, Steph, look it over here. And spirit, intelligent presence is my guide, my director, my flow. The flow that I am is already on its way to the greatest experience I will ever have if I am aware and awake enough to see it as it's floating by. Otherwise, it'll loop, right? So we just keep doing that. But that those feelings of things like jealousy, envy, comparison, those things hurt me. Like I do not want that. I create suffering in my life, even physical pain or emotional turmoil, if I am in comparison or in competition with someone else or something else, because I know that I'm God. Who am I competing with but myself?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. The detriment is only ever self-detriment. Like if say I had some envy over you as a minister, Steph. That does nothing to you. It only is diminishing for me.
Yeah.
If I'm living from that point of view or from that state of mind. So I think the statement then really is, let us let go of competition. Let us let go of jealousy. Let us let go of envy. They have no place in the truth of being. They just don't.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
Angela, I'm not a minister, but I did see it. So there is I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I racked my brain, I could find some.
We could
some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it sends a mixed message for a spiritual role model to be in competition with other ones. I think the model should be cooperation and inclusivity. I think you have a minister, Anita, that talked about that last Sunday, you know? And here's, so we came out last Sunday and let the Unity of Tucson community know that we are in negotiations with the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson to invite them to be part of our space, to be part of our campus, and to have office space here.
Lovely.
And to have, we're going to look at the schedule so that they can do a Sunday celebration in the sanctuary. And we basically are sharing the space. And I just love the idea that there is no competition in God.
There is no competition in God. There is no separation in divine intelligent mind.
Yeah.
It cannot be separate from itself. And that's the competition. Like even in sports, like people watching crazy sports, and it's not even the teams they're competing because that's their love and their passion. But the fans are the ones that are putting all of that the stuff on, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you from documentaries on sports, because I love watching documentaries on sports, but not watching sports. I'm weird, I know. But both teams before the game are praying to the same God, and they're both praying to win. So what? It's not that God's only answering one team. It's that, there's
God doesn't
compete.
God doesn't care who wins.
God doesn't care who wins. Did you have fun, honey? Right? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's your 7th place ribbon. Right? Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I just know. I love this topic because comparison is rampant with the issue, the illusion of separation. It's all over the world, competing for contracts, competing for countries and space. There's always this competition that somebody knows more, somebody knows how to be right, and we're all trying to be right. So
we are.
How blue in the face are you going to make yourself before you fall down and faint from separating yourself from the oxygen that spirit needs to live in you?
So it made me think of a quote from one of my favorite books, Practicing the Present, because we just went over this in my in my advanced class that I'm teaching on Monday nights. This was one of the quotes that I brought and invited what I lovingly refer to as a stand and deliver. Here's the quote. Talk about this quote to having a student do that. Anyway, he wrote this: all through the ages, duality has separated us from our good. But it is a sense of duality, not duality, because there is no duality. The secret of life is oneness, and oneness is not something we bring about. Yes. Oneness is a state of being.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah, I love. Some people are like, oh, this book is so old-fashioned, and it's kind of, maybe we've moved beyond it. I still love the inspiration I receive from reading this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this book.
Yeah.
And I will continue to use this book as long as it serves me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have like first or second editions of some really old New Thought books, and it's wonderful.
There was at the Anton conference, they had as part of one of their auction items, they had an early edition of a hardbound copy of Science of Mind, signed by Ernest Holmes.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I didn't get it.
It's like having a Bible signed by Jesus.
Or Moses, depending on
Moses.
Of course, Moses didn't exist.
What? But he's in the Bible.
Moses did not exist.
Here we are finding ourselves in the Bible again.
Well, I am unity now, so isn't that the expectation?
I don't know. Expectations.
Well, and let's not forget.
Yes.
I keep pulling my books out. If you go past page 423 in the Science of Mind, this is my thing I always say. You go, so 420 on page 423 is the final conclusion of the science of mind, right?
Yeah.
But there's still all of that left after page 423. And what is all of this? Mostly teachings from the New Testament.
Yeah. Teachings. Yeah.
The teachings of Jesus.
The teachings of
of the New
Jesus.
Testament. Yeah.
And meditations.
Meditations for help, self-support. Yeah. Oh, Laura, I want that, right? Yeah, I didn't win it.
Yeah. It would be in a glass box.
I don't remember who won it now. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Someone who bid enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just flipped in that section. The one thing highlighted here for today is it is impossible for a sane person to believe that God delights in condemning or damning anyone. God is natural goodness and eternal loving kindness and holds nothing against anyone.
And so it is.
And so it is. See, that's just right there again.
Yeah.
There's no competition in the divine. It's a presence.
There can't be competition in the divine.
Yeah. God's not sitting on a couch with a bowl of popcorn watching the game.
No.
Watching this show it created.
So why do we sense duality? What is the purpose of that sensation of duality? What does it serve? Why do we have that as individualizations of the divine if it doesn't exist in the divine? Like, does it serve us in some manner? That then becomes my question.
Oh, it must. It must serve us in some way, or it wouldn't be present for us, right? So for me, my story, like this is the duality in my life. I wouldn't be who I am today, which is joyful and loving and present and meditative and calm and all of these beautiful things that I strived for when I was depressed and anxious and isolating and in fear. Competition. I was in competition with the air I breathed outside of my home. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, my understanding of duality is the reason I know great love. Is because I have known the opposite, a self-loathing that instilled within me an opportunity to grow and to evolve into something greater.
Can I make a suggestion though, that what you're talking about is the experience of polarity? Because for me, the way I define duality, the way I think that Joel Goldsmith defines duality, is seeming separation from God.
Yeah.
That there is God and something else.
Yeah.
But we experience polarity, right? We experience north, south. We experience yes, no. We experience good. No. People in New Thought circles sometimes I don't want to hear this, but we experience bad things sometimes, right?
Yeah.
We experience good. We experience bad. We experience the expression of life in terms of polarity.
Yeah.
And we are empowered to address that polarity when we recognize it. So I don't fear polarity. I know that I am empowered through my spiritual practice, to, resolve into the good if I'm experiencing the bad, but it's entirely up to me. Yeah. But I do that from the point of view of knowing the truth of my being, which is a unified wholeness, a unity.
Yeah.
Because why I also joke and say it's why unity is called unity, not separation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But duality for me, the specific definition that I will use for duality is to say a seeming separation from God.
Right. So God is something outside of myself.
Right. And that's what leads to discord. Yeah.
So duality in my life that was my place of suffering. I probably didn't know that it was me living in duality. But all of my experience has been because I believed I was separate from that divine source of all life. And so I whirlwind my life believing I was all by myself. I was a little thing on this marble spinning through space and all of that stuff. So I don't think I was aware some, like, naming it something like duality. It just was that there was a moment, and here's the moment of duality, becoming singularity.
Mm-hmm.
When I like, life was going rough. Life was ugh. And there was a moment when I just shot up. I sprang up in bed. It was a Sunday morning. I sprang up in bed, and there's something inside of me that said, "Get yourself to church." And I was like, "What? I don't do that. I don't do that." And I realized, like, I found a church. I thought it was one that a friend of mine had described, that didn't live in Winnipeg, and I was new to Winnipeg ish. And so I went, but what I discovered was that was not my church for sure. On day one, walking in, there was a significant separation. I wasn't welcomed. Like, it was a united church in Canada, so I wasn't greeted or welcomed by any existing member. The talk was cold, and so was the building, and I left there like, what did you want me to experience in that?
Yeah.
And it was like, keep looking until you find that thing.
This goes
And
well.
that thing was that I'm not separate from that, the energy I'm seeking of, by the love and the warmth of sweet spirit is in me to experience.
Yeah.
So that was my duality. Like, a God outside of myself doesn't work for me.
So, and I would still, and I'm going to go back and say, I think that what you're experiencing was polarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get really, like, nitpicky personally about some of these things, but the reason I want to bring it back to that word polarity is because this question came up: is polarity a preference? I think that polarity exists in expression, but we have preferences about which side of the pole we prefer.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, like, I think polarity, we have preferences around the polarity. The polarity in and of itself is neutral. There is no preference, right? And so you had an experience in a spiritual community that did not work for you. So think about that. You had experience in a spiritual community. That experience did not work for you. Does that mean that the spiritual community does not warrant existence? No, because it works for others, and
it worked for all of the other people.
Yeah, and so we can let go of the notion of, of us versus them. And again, here it comes back to this consciousness of competition.
Yeah,
is really kind of in our culture in so many ways. And I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm so done with the consciousness of competition that I would like to think is going to be done in this country in 2.5 weeks. I'm just going to keep breathing.
Yeah, just keep breathing.
But then we literally set that up as competition, right?
Yeah.
This faction versus this faction.
Yeah, us versus them.
Yeah.
And us versus them. It is in churches. Well, it is in centers. It is in community. There's, we want it this way. No, we want it this way. Like, we want tables. We want rows.
Well, oh yeah.
There's
all here, so here's the next thing that comes up for me is I'm sitting here thinking there's a polarity in unity right now. There is a polarity in terms of what is the foundational theology that we are looking to explore. And there are communities that are on one side of the aisle, and there are communities that are on the other side of the aisle, right? And I think they're all right. I think they all serve a purpose, and we need to stop saying, hey, it's got to be this way. One faction is trying to say, no, it's got to be this way. The other faction is saying, no, it's got to be this way. Maybe we should say, let us explore in our own way.
Yeah.
I think now, do I think that there needs to be a guideline for the tenets of the philosophy? I do. How we arrive at teaching the tenets of the philosophy, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. So. Well, and that level of separation or competitiveness is why there are so many different sects of religious doctrine, right? Like Christian, you can't just say you're a Christian. There's a huge, like, which kind are you?
Like, isn't there something like 50,000 different denominations in Protestant Christianity? So, I mean, it's some insane number that I can't even fathom.
Yeah. And so when dissatisfaction, you either make a change as a community to move forward, or what tends to happen is if that dissatisfaction continues, people like Ralph Waldo Emerson are like, I'm going to start my own religion. Right. And so we don't start new religions now. We just say this way isn't working for me. So I'm going to move on.
Or do we?
Or do we stick it out and
no? Do we not start new? And I won't say new religions, but new paths. Like like I feel like there is a definite denominational thing happening in Unity. I feel like there are people on a couple different sides of an ideology, and we are seeing, and I don't want to call it a split, but it is kind of a split where I'm seeing a split. Anyway, we don't need to go down.
But isn't there room for like isn't our whole thing about oneness and wholeness? Isn't there room for everyone at the buffet table?
There is,
right? That's the thing. There should, like, why? So if there are, like, why can't we just all sit at the same table and discuss and contemplate? And
you won't get any argument from me on that.
Let's chat about it instead of just like.
But it's becoming competitive. And I think that, that's the thing. Anyway, there is a competition that seems to be unfolding.
Yeah. I'm in competition with no one, because there's only one. Who am I competing with? That's where I like, even this week, like, I don't need to compete with anyone. I get to be me. I don't need to be what other people think I am or say I am or weave stories about. I don't. I know who I am, and I don't need to put a bushel over my light to make anyone else feel better about themselves, right? We are in this together. We got one life. We get one life. We get to be aware of this beautiful, precious life. And it's short. Even if you get to live to be like 100 years old, that's 100 years worth of 3 trillion years worth of experience, or infinite and eternal experience. We get this physical awareness if we're lucky. If we eat good stuff and exercise and stretch and all of that good stuff, then we get to prolong this beautiful, beautiful life. Oh, I love that Jonathan just froze like that.
Without my knowing it, my Wi-Fi reverted back to the Wi-Fi that was not working.
But that was such a great face on you.
Oh, great. I look forward to seeing it when I watch the video archive.
Yeah. I once got frozen like this.
I know. Now it makes me think I can't ever have a sour look on my face. I always have to be,
This is me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting times.
Yeah. Love.
Interesting.
Laura said, I'm so in the right place with you two right now. Awesome. I'm grateful to be sharing this with you.
Grateful.
Grateful. Yeah, so grateful.
Yeah.
Oh, so we ranted.
We did.
What is everyone else's thought? Do you feel, beautiful, beloved audience, do you feel like there's competition in your life right now? Is there something? Are you in competition with yourself or other people? How are you? How is any of this sitting with you? We love to know. We love to talk.
We do.
We love to
have
here.
So I'm sure people will put some stuff in the comments there. I did a thing yesterday on my Mindful Moment. Mindful Moment, Mondays through Thursdays, 9 a.m. Arizona time on these streaming channels. Some of these streaming channels. But I got my intention dice out and I rolled the dice, and then I basically talked about what came up on the dice. So I'm going to roll the dice and see what comes up. And I want to know your thoughts on patient is 1.
Patient.
So patient or patience.
I
Inspired.
appreciate patience.
It's hard to see the yellow ones.
Inspired. Patience.
Worthy came up.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about, our sense of value and being worthy. Renewed and strong. Patient, inspired, worthy, renewed, and strong. Lay it on me.
Lay it on me. What am I doing with these?
I want you to talk about those from a new thought perspective. What does that bring up for you? What is it? So they're intention dice, right?
Intentions.
Yeah. So think about them in relationship to your intentional living. Patient, inspired, worthy, renewed, and strong.
Unconditional patience. That's so beautiful. Like the divine beloved, this holy thing, is unconditionally patient because we're here making a muck of some things. And having the divine patience to know that no matter where I'm at, my good is already right where I am. I don't, there's, and I appreciate patience. One of the, I have one of those minds. I have an ADHD mind, and I love it. I love my mind. It's conscious. It's present. Is it distractible? Absolutely. And squirrel, yeah, squirrel chasing a molecule. And so patience with myself has been a huge thing. I also, I've said it many times that we don't owe anyone a response or a reaction to anything. And so my tide over, because we don't want people waiting forever to get a response when I just need time to think about how I'm going to respond. So I just respond saying, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you having patience with me to give me the time I require to dive deeper into what you're asking of me.
Yeah.
And so that's huge for me. Like patience with myself has been life-changing because it hasn't always been.
The thing about patience too, I think, is we can only ever be impatient if we are not living in the moment, if we are not rooted in the present.
Yeah.
It's the only way we can ever be impatient. So for me, patience is a practice of presence. Yeah. Wait a second. Practicing the presence. Sorry.
Practicing the presence. That's it.
It is a way that we practice the presence.
Yeah. In the
present, as the presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, this is works on a regular basis. I can diffuse a situation by simply acknowledging patience, like acknowledging your experience and just, if we can have patience for whatever, because if we're spinning, we're missing the solution that's already present in the mind. And so if we just have patience and let's just, sit in silence for 5 minutes and then start talking again so that we can have a better clarity about what it is we might want to be saying to one another, because what we're saying right now doesn't feel kind to me. Right. So so having patience with yourself and respecting your own boundaries in that, not adhering to other people's stuff or timeframes, but staying present for yourself. That's huge. Being patient with yourself is Absolutely huge.
Right. Well, that idea of boundaries too makes me think about this, the one that says worthy, because I think
Mhm.
oftentimes we allow our boundaries to be crossed if we don't have a sense of our own worth or our
Yeah.
own value.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
Absolutely. And worthiness. I mean, for so many of us, that's the journey.
That is the journey.
That is the journey to find within yourself your own worthiness, that your unique and unrepeatable expression in this life is worthy of being here simply because you're here.
Right.
Simply because you're here.
You exist, and so you are magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to do anything to be magnificent.
That's
Just
right.
be. You just
Yeah.
be.
Unlearn what other people think about you, say about you, tell you to
Well,
your
what other
face.
people think
Unlearn
of me
it.
is none of my business, and if they ain't paying my bills, I pay them no mind.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's right.
I left out a choice word, but that's something that
Yeah.
RuPaul says.
Yeah.
If them ain't paying my bills, I pay them no mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Always. Always.
That's the
And
call.
because worthiness, like even as awake as I am, the journey that I've had, like all of this stuff, I still have days, y'all. I still have days where my root learning in this life comes back to a lack of self-worth.
Hmm.
And until I pluck out the depths of that root, as even I'm higher up on the rungs of the spiral of life in my spiritual journey, but I am still a work in progress. I'm a masterpiece that is revealing itself each and every day a little bit more. And that, that's for so many of us. And when we don't know ourselves, when we don't feel worthy of, it's so easy to compare ourselves to other people.
Yeah. So easy. Yeah.
But this is big. This is big long. Saint Steph, my Marine. Oh, my glasses are in my room because I actually read at bedtime last night. My Marine son ate, exercised, embraced goodness, was a pilot in the Marines, had a plane accident. They all died. Explained what your thoughts are about if we exercise, ate nutritious foods, etc. A supreme power supersedes all. My patience is that we will see each other again, never to be fully parted. Hope Inam expressing this. I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm sorry for the loss of your son. Absolutely. I'm not sure what you're asking me. I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Well, so I think I might be making some inferences here that Audrey, let us know if we are right or wrong. So we can eat, we can exercise, we can embrace goodness, and like that, it can all be over on this plane of action.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that is important for me to remember is that we are aspects of an infinite life. And this plane of action is not all there is. I think I agree. Yes, you can live in the state of patience that you will see your son again in the infinite expression that exists beyond this plane of action. But here's the thing too, you can have the experience of your son on this plane of action through consciousness, because it is our conscious memory. It is our consciousness bringing them into our living awareness that no, the physical expression may not be here any longer, but that does not mean that you cannot experience the soul expression of them. That's what I believe.
Absolutely. I take great comfort in knowing that the people who have lost in my life, because they're not lost, that I'm closer to them now than I ever could be in a physical way. Because whenever, like my cousin Ronnie and I, oh man, he passed way too young.
Yeah.
Way too young. And we were called twins. Like we were inseparable growing up. We looked very similar growing up. Everybody thought we were twins.
Yeah.
And now, like he's been gone a significant amount of time, but he's never gone, because he shows up in signs, and sometimes I just feel that he's here and that he's got something to say to me. And so that voice that I'm hearing, it is him, because we are inseparable. We have one mind. We now share this one mind, and we don't have the boundaries or confines of a physical realm or physical experience. So he's still with me very regularly, and still connects, and I trust and hope that his immediate family, like his mom and his brothers, he had 2 brothers and his mom, you know, I hope that they have this same awareness of his presence. Like a hard first 32 years, and you know, and so I get that, and Audrey, absolutely, patience is there, because we can be frustrated when we can't hear their voice, when we really want to hear their voice.
Oh gosh. So my paternal grandmother transitioned 31 years ago. She was a very significant part of my upbringing. I mean, insanely significant part of my upbringing. And you know, I was 20 years old when she transitioned, and it felt so devastating to me, because again, it was a similar thing. She was way too young. She was 67 years old. Cancer, you know, and that is it is an unfortunate part of the experience that we're having on this plane of action. It sucks. But the notion of the voice, right? I had forgotten in some ways what her voice sounded like, but recently found some video on VHS, right? 31 years ago, some video on VHS of a Thanksgiving celebration. And I got to hear her voice again. I'm back. I cut out there for a moment, but I got to hear her voice again. And it was such a special thing to be able to like have that sensation of hearing her again. There's something, yeah. Oh, Angela said that we forget their voices first. In a lot of ways, I think I did forget her voice. And yet having that memory brought back, being able to hear her voice again, it was like, it brought so much.
Yeah. So, and a note to everyone, if you've got a VHS tape or a VCR in your garage, don't throw it out. You never know what kind of treasures are going to pop up.
No. And gratefully, I was able to take those. I've been able to digitize them. So, you know, they continue to live in expression. Anita, my mother, passed last month, and we've had many communications since then, as have some other people. Yep. You know, I think we don't know what we don't know, and we take for granted that this is all there is in so many ways, and there's so much more. There's so much more, because the nature of the divine is infinite. Yeah. So speak to those who have transitioned.
Yeah. Like they're in the room.
Yeah.
So many conversations. So many. When my grandmother, my mom's mom, passed away, we had a really rocky relationship. She had late in life diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and so our relationship was a little tumultuous. That's not how you say that, but
tumultuous, yeah.
Tumultuous. And at one point, she actually disowned me in words, you know, in words. And the day that she passed, made her transition, I was standing outside. It was actually the full moon in October. And I just overwhelmingly felt her presence.
Yeah.
And I was like looking up at this full moon, and, you know, she just, I saw her in this amazing light, and she said, I'm free.
Beautiful.
And because that, you know, the physical life sometimes what is restricting
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And so she was able to let go of all of the things that that were too much for her.
Mhm.
And those experiences, I mean, no one else was there to experience that with me. That was for me.
Yeah.
And we get so many, you know, I was thinking of social media, right? I'm like, I see all over the place people taking pictures of their food, people taking pictures of their
My
feet
husband.
on a beach, you know, and so often I have these, I'm like in a moment, I'm like, oh, I wish I had my camera. And then I'm like, this moment now is just for me.
Yeah.
No one else is getting this but me.
Yeah.
And we are able to have these relationships with people who have transitioned that no one else is ever going to be able to understand.
Right.
But the ones having it.
Yeah. Anita, that's what my mother said. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what freedom looks like.
We have arrived.
Yes.
At almost an hour. And for that, I am in gratitude for this conversation and for this connection, Saint Steph. I'm always delighted to share time with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I miss it when we don't, for sure.
I know. I'm sorry that I was literally, in transit last week, and sometimes that happens.
It's okay. Yeah, and it's okay to experience missing someone.
Absolutely.
I mean, I made it through.
Yeah.
Our longest stint was when you were walking the Camino. That's the longest we had not talked
for a decade.
Years. Yeah.
For over a decade. Yes. Yeah. We've had constant conversations for over a decade. And that, like, what was that, 8 weeks that we did not?
It was eternity.
So long.
So long. Yes.
Angela
says, it was such a great talk today.
Thank you, Angela.
Gave me lots of takeaways. Thanks, Angela.
Love that.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Yes. Okay, wonderful beloveds. It was great to be with all of you. Thank you for having this conversation with us. Let us know what you would like to rant about next week, because we do this every Friday. We have conscious conversations and radically affirmative new thoughts. So we love that you are here with us, and keep us conversing by sharing your ideas and your thoughts.
Yeah. Send us mail. There's Saint Steph's email address. My email address is there. We welcome your thoughts. Today's conversation. Thank you, Beryl, for asking us to speak on comparison is the thief of happiness, because boy, what a conversation that was. That's how this works. That's what the rant is all about.
Yep. And then sometimes we roll some dice. See where things take us.
Yeah, I love rolling the dice.
I love it.
So we'll see you all next week. Hey, don't forget, Steph has her Wake Up Say Thank You Mondays through Fridays at 8 a.m. No, 8 a.m. Pacific.
Yep.
10 a.m. Central.
That's right.
Yes. And I have my mindful moment Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Arizona time, because we don't observe daylight savings time. So if you do, it'll change in a couple weeks for you.
Yeah. Arizona ahead of all of us.
Yeah,
in the whole time zone thing. Yeah. Love you all. Thanks for being here. See you next week.
Hey, magnificent. Keep shining your light, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.